have you heard of the prison planet theory? Well, guess who just learned about it?
Guess is that you just discovered it. So why don't you explain to the class what it is?
Essentially, we're all trapped here on Earth. We're all trapped here, and everything we know about, like all the religions that believe in reincarnation, all these different things, yeah, we keep coming back to this Earth because there are astral beings that are harvesting our energy, and they are trapping us here.
It's a very unique and interesting theory. Thank you for sharing it. Now I am going to deconstruct all of your evidence into logical fallacies so you can critically evaluate your thinking.
Apparently, these beings that are controlling us are these reptilian beings that you always hear about.
In deconstructing the claim and evidence, the claim is that we are stuck in a subjugative reincarnation loop of oppression. The first piece of evidence is the prevalence of reptilian deities in human history and human cultures. This is an example of the ad populum fallacy or bandwagon effect. This states that because many people believe it, it must be true. And because many cultures in history believed reptilian deities exist, it must be true. That is the logical fallacy in this evidence. The likely case scenario is we have an innate fear of reptilian beings due to genetic memory. Because of that and the God of the Gaps fallacy, we have created reptilian deities. An example of innate fear is when you listen to the simulated Tyrannosaurus Rex sound and get chills deep in your soul from genetic memory of times past. Go to the next piece of evidence.
That light a tunnel that many people have talked about that have had near-death experiences or death experiences. Yeah, it's just to trick us, to essentially wipe us clean, send our souls back, and start the process again.
This piece of evidence claims that the light during near-death experiences is a way to wipe our memories and put us back in the reincarnation cycle. The fallacy in this case is appeal to ignorance. That is when, because we cannot disprove something, it is assumed to be true. In this case, because we cannot prove that near-death experiences are inherently spiritual, it must be spiritual by default. A realistic explanation is DMT, a powerful hallucinogen created by the pineal gland of our brain at the moment of death, creates powerful hallucinations that we interpret as near-death experiences. Let's look at the next piece of evidence.
I think we can all agree that there's multiple dimensions, right? People have experiences on psychedelics where multiple people will take the same thing and they all go to another dimension and see the same thing. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? Explain it to me, please.
Sorry, I will explain it. The question is, why do people who take drugs all have similar hallucinations? The claim is that is because when we take drugs, we transcend dimensions. Let's break this down, shall we? This is two logical fallacies, ad populum and the appeal to ignorance fallacy. Appeal to ignorance fallacy is that because we cannot prove that we do not transcend dimensions when taking drugs, it is assumed to be true. Ad populum fallacy reinforces the other fallacy. As many people share the same experience when taking drugs, they must be transcending dimensions, and because we don't have evidence against it, it must be true. There's a likely explanation for this occurring. When comparing humans to other mammals and animals, we have actually low genetic biodiversity, meaning we have a lot more in common than we think, including cognitive bias and ingrained beliefs and fear responses. These are the primary factors that allow hallucinations to be very similar across our species. We have a lot in common with every other human on Earth, and because of those innate beliefs and cognitive bias, we have similar hallucinations. It's been a complex deconstruction of this belief. Hopefully you realize that this has a low likelihood of being true since it's based in logical fallacy and innate belief. Let me know what you think of this, and if you would like to see more deconstruction. Ad